Alright guys, today I'm going to be doing a video on some more tactical EDC knives, some more, I guess you could say, traditional EDC knives, and then some, not necessarily newer style, but common EDC knives, I guess you would say. Uh, you know, for the most part, most people tend to carry. Well, when you're younger, when you're smaller, which is the reason that I have these here, is because, I was all into that whole phase, like, yeah, I'm a little badass kind of, I dare somebody to mess with me, I'll fuck them up kind of stage, 10, 11 years old, something like that. And, as you can tell, it's not an expensive knife. This is a cheap little guy. I don't know what it's called. I got it from a gun show. It is a ceramic though, so, you can fuck somebody up with it. Little tough guys, It is sharp though, not good steel, but that kind of leads me into my first topic on fixed blade knife, or not, dang it, on tactical knives. Sorry, it's like 6 in the morning. I've been up all night, so I'm a little bit tongue tied here. Tactical knives tend to have a little bit lower end steel, just like this here. Tonto point blade here has a this is a CRKT M1612Z. This is OS4 steel, not the best steel, not terrible steel, not great. You can't expect it to hold a great edge if you're using it all the time. This guy here, I don't even know what it is. Cheap, I'm not gonna lie, like, I love this little guy. This is a cool ass little knife. It's got like crazy fast deployment. It's got that spring in it, so I love the little knife. But honestly, terrible steel. Also terrible steel. Smith and Wesson something. But there's a reason for that, and the reason. Well, actually, this one here has decent steel. This is like 14C 28N steel, and that's actually pretty good. But it's not exactly a cheap knife. Not the most expensive, $110 for a production knife, which not what I paid for it, but as I was saying, these tactical knives are not intended to be used for everyday tasks. Say you go to the post office or something, and you pick up a bunch of Christmas gifts from your family across the United States, and you got 60 boxes to open, but you're not going home that day, then I would much rather have an EDC knife say something like along the lines of this little guy here, because I know for a fact that it has decent steel, not great. I don't even know what the steel is because, it's a little buck folder, whatever you want to call it, so I have no idea what the steel is. But I know it's not terrible and it's easy to sharpen. And I got this little guy razor sharp. So, use this all day, and then, just strop it when you get home and it'll be perfectly fine, as is with all 3 of these. Now, if I was to use this to open boxes, which I'd scare the piss out of the people at the post office with if I whipped it out in the middle of the post office or something, which I wouldn't do with any knife because, the way that the U.S. is today is crazy. But if I was to whip this out, they'd freak out. They'd be scared, some kind of like ninja-looking knife or something. Because the common public, believe it or not, has no idea, like the difference with knives and all, the different views on knives. Like, if I was just a civilian, or which I am a civilian, but if I was just, a common person, not some weird-ass knife collector like I am, this would scare the living piss out of me if I seen somebody carrying this. Especially a kid, because kids are crazy. Which I'm 16, so, technically I'm a kid. But, tactical knife. Now, this can also be kind of placed in the tactical role if need be, just because of size. Same as this here. Well, not really, because that's 2-hand opening. Still big, though. But, this guy here, quick to deploy, great lockup on there, an early-ish lockup, thick liner, lightweight, great ergonomics, this could be considered tactical in some situations. Wouldn't really want it to be. It's an EDC knife, decent steel, razor sharp, because of the fact that this was created to be carried every day and to be used every day and to keep up a decent blade. Now this here, real little neck knife comes in a little, like Zytel or some kind of plastic sheath here. This is pretty much made. This would be what I would use to cut all those boxes open, just because if it gets dull, I don't care, because I'm not using it for anything important. This guy here, like I said, can be placed in a defensive role if need be. Which I don't see my knives as weapons. I see my knives as tools, pretty much strictly. But, if my life is in danger and I am put into a situation where I need to use my knife, this little guy I would even use, because of the fact that it can be. And so, why not take advantage of it? And then you got this little guy here, same thing as this, except for much better ergonomics. And it comes in a Kydex sheath, which I'm wearing right now, so I don't feel like taking it off. And then you step into more traditional EDC items, like this, or EDC knives like this here. This little guy is probably well, to be honest with you, the blade's longer than this, or about the same length. Of course, there's more cutting edge on this because it's such a deeper belly than this, but, a little 2-inch blade, pretty sharp, to be honest with you. I got it pretty much, hair popping sharp. I'm not scary sharp, like some of my knives, but, not dull. And then, you come into this big old folding hunter here, which looks like a buck 110. It's not. I don't know what it is. But, this isn't really tactical. I guess it could be placed in a tactical role if you have both hands free and you have time to get it out, just because of its sheer size. You definitely could use it. It could do quite a bit of damage. It is clip point, so piercing capability is alright. But, this is very sharp too, actually. Which I don't know what kind of steel it is. It's made in China. I don't know if you can see that or not. My camera, I got it zoomed in, so not the best quality at the moment. But, that's pretty much for steel. Now, blade shape. As you can see here, you look at something like this, and then you look at something like this. There's a big difference there, and if you can't see it, you're either stupid or blind. No offense to blind people. Excuse me. Now, obviously made for piercing, can be put into that role again, if need be, but obviously not made for it. Like, look how they're about the same thickness of a blade to start out with anyway. But this guy here tapers quite a bit, as you can see, sharpened on all 4 sides here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sharpened. It's not sharp at all, really, on the sides, but that point right there, man, that point's pretty devastating. I ain't gonna lie, that's tough right there. It's like a needle. This guy here, the point, it's sharp, but just so you can get into finer work when you're, cutting boxes, or, say, cutting a stem off an apple, because that's what that's for. Now, also, another thing about blade shape, right here, designed by the Japanese to pierce armor, which, in today's roller is designed more to pierce multiple layers of clothes and your opponent's skin, or attacker's skin, or whoever you're attacking, depending on who you are, man. I don't really condone, or, well, I wouldn't say condone. I wouldn't put my life in the hands of a knife that I'm carrying. If I had a choice between a knife and a gun, I'd take a gun any day. And anybody who says they wouldn't choose a gun over a knife is some liberal, piece of shit who has never had their life in that situation. Not saying that, had a hard life or anything, but dang, if you're in danger and a gun right here and a knife right here, which are you gonna take? It's kind of common sense to choose a gun. But that's for another time. Alright, so we got blade steel, blade shape. Let's go ahead on to ergonomics here. Now this guy here, not exactly the most ergonomic knife. It doesn't feel good in the hand or anything, but this is made so that when you stab at something or you thrust this into something, it's not gonna slide up. You see, it's got the swells here. So like if I grab onto this cord and I pull back as hard as I can on this, it's not going anywhere. And that's just with 2 fingers, you see right there. Which I'm not going to be stupid, let it slip, because I don't feel like cutting myself again today. But that's what that's for. Now this guy here, excuse that, I accidentally hit the tripod. This guy here, made for superior retention. It fits in your hand great, Made for one thing. It's made to be retained very well. And, as you can see, also to be used as a striking weapon, if need be. But, it's got a nice thumb ramp here. Also great retention. Pinky's not very strong, but still better retention than, say, something like this, which is, traditional EDC. Like, you can just grab this and pull it out of my hand, harder than that. I wouldn't suggest grabbing anybody's blade, but a lot different than something like this. You can see the use in this. You can see that it's not just a pocket knife. And then you look at something like, this here, decent finger choil here, so it stop your finger from sliding up in a thrusting motion. Kind of thin grip, points it straight out, so you can really get, good thrusting leverage here, which these aren't proper terms, but you know what I mean. Again, that choil there to stop your hand from sliding down, and it's the same with that as this here. Fits into the palm of your hand pretty well. So straight arm here, straight into the blade, you get really good motion here. Which I'm by no means an expert or trained in any martial arts, but, physics, common sense kind of thing here, Penetrating point, tactical blade. This here, great ergonomics, simply for comfort. So you can be comfortable while using this knife over a long period of time. Reverse grip, not the best. It doesn't hurt, it's not uncomfortable, but it feels a lot better in forward grip here, which is what it's designed for. This here, or both of these really, small knife, it as comfortable as it's gonna get for this kind of knife. The most ergonomic knife in the world so far. Hopefully I beat that with my design. Hasn't happened yet, but also superior retention. Honestly, this has better retention than the Karambit here, which is only because the only reason I say that is because, say if this did get taken out of your hand, you can break a finger, but, this gets taken, well, this isn't going to get taken out of your hand, but if it were to tilt sideways or something, even then, then it's gone, but better than breaking a finger, you can take my knife, don't break my finger, but, that's, I guess that's just me, but also, the way that the knives lock up. Fixed blade. I'm not saying all fixed blades are tactical, because they're not. Most fixed blades, or this is the only tactical fixed blade I would consider tactical anyway, that I own. The only reason that this is a fixed blade, honestly, is just for speed of the draw. Excuse me. But, tactical fixed blade. This here, liner lock. Again, this is a cheap knife, so it's not the best lockup. However, it's better than none, that's for sure. Like this here, absolutely no lockup. Slip joint, little, can't open it one hand. Little slip joint, pocket knife here. Obviously not a tactical blade. And then you get over to, these two knives here. This one has a bit of a thinner liner lock, but it's still very strong. Like, I trust it pretty well. Which I would never take a folder and take it like this and slam it down, because I've had a folder close on my fingers before, and that was scary. Well, shit. But, man, I'm tired. It's tactical, lock up. Very good, fairly thick, not too thick, liner lock here, which I prefer frame lock. Liner lock works too. But, as you can see, yeah, also lock up. This here, as I said, again, this is a pretty much, due to Spyderco, which they do with most of their knives, this can be placed in a dual-purpose roll. It is an EDC, but it's big enough and has a proper lockup. It is ergonomic enough. It will not slip, down into your hand. It has fairly decent retention just because of how ergonomic it is. It feels amazing in the hand, honestly. If you're looking for an EDC knife, I would suggest a Tenacious. Or like a Mannix, because Mannix is pretty much Tenacious with the axis lock back here. Or not axis lock, excuse me, but, ball lock back here. And, better blade. But, yeah. It has a very thick liner lock too. It has a very thick liner lock compared to these. Two fixed blades, but again, these are small knives, which I'm definitely not saying anything bad about small knives. It's like this here. This is only about I'd say, it's about a 2-inch blade too, something close to it anyway. And this is probably the most devastating knife I have, just because of the fact that just the sheer power that these little karambits possess, I guess you could say, is it's pretty immense. And then you got this guy here, which is a lockback, which is all the way at the bottom. So it's obviously not tactical. It's not easy to use. It's two-hand operational, pretty much no matter how you do it. You can use one hand, not the safest thing. I wouldn't suggest it. I mean, I do it. I've cut myself before too. Shit happens. But try to close this one hand. All right, there we go. It worked. I guess those are pretty much the main points of tactical and more casual or traditional EDC. You can't close that. I guess when it comes down to it, if you are looking for a blade to use to defend yourself, definitely choose a karambit. Not necessarily this one. Get a higher value karambit. Just because this little guy's not very sharp. But like I said, you're not going to be using this to cut rope or to open boxes or to use with your everyday carry situations. It is used for one thing and one thing only. That is to defend yourself or offend other people, depending on who you are, like I said. But if you are looking for a normal EDC, get a little pocket knife, something like this here. Or definitely, if you're looking for a good pocket knife, get a Tenacious. It's a great knife. Or if you got a couple, about $100 extra to spend, plus the money for the Tenacious, you go ahead and get a Mannix too. Which I believe they have an S30V version. So, that's really good. And if you're looking for a little neck knife, definitely check out the Minimalist here, which there are reviews on the Minimalist. There's countless, hundreds of reviews on the Tenacious because everybody has it, and pretty much everybody loves it. I know I do. And there's plenty of little case pocket knives and stuff out there. This took longer than I expected, but thank y'all for watching, and pretty sure this is just for my one subscriber. Thanks, man.